Imagine getting a phone call in the middle of the night. You hear your child's voice crying, pleading for help, saying they've been kidnapped. Your heart stops. You'd do anything to save them. But here's the terrifying truth. It might not be your child at all. It could be artificial intelligence, and this scam is spreading like wildfire across the country. Gear up in this video. I'm going to tell you about the most sophisticated and emotionally devastating scam of our digital age, and more importantly, how to protect yourself and your family. What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video might be one of the most important I've ever made, because we're talking about a scam that's using cutting-edge AI technology to prey on parents' worst fears. Before we go in, I want you to think about this. When was the last time your child posted a video on social media? Sent a voice message? Maybe they were in the background of a family video you shared? All of those moments could now be weaponized against you. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how these scams work and how to protect your family. Let me start with Jennifer DeStefano's story because it shows just how sophisticated and terrifying these scams have become. Jennifer was walking into a dance studio in Scottsdale, Arizona, when she got a call from an unknown number. Her 15-year-old daughter Brianna was on a skiing trip, so she worried it could be an emergency. When she answered, she heard something that would haunt any parent. Her daughter's voice, crying and sobbing, saying, "Mom, these bad men have me. Help me, help me, help me." But here's what makes this story so chilling. Brianna was completely safe with her father. The voice Jennifer heard was a perfect AI clone, created from audio samples that scammers had somehow obtained. The technology was so convincing that Jennifer, who describes herself as pretty savvy, was completely fooled. The scammer demanded $1 million, then lowered it to $50,000 when Jennifer said that wasn't possible. He even arranged for a physical pickup. A white van would meet her. Someone would put a bag over her head and bring her to it. It was only when other mothers at the dance studio helped her verify that Brianna was safe that she realized she'd been targeted by what experts are calling the most sophisticated scam they've ever seen. But Jennifer's story isn't unique. Let me tell you about Robin and Steve from Brooklyn. At midnight, Robin got a call from her mother-in-law, Mona, who was wailing and repeating, "I can't do it, I can't do it." Then they heard what sounded like her father-in-law, Bob, saying, "Get Steve, get Steve." When Steve took the phone, a man with a southern accent said, "You're not gonna call the police. I've got a gun to your mom's head, and I'm gonna blow her brains out if you don't do exactly what I say." Steve works in law enforcement and even had a hostage negotiation expert listening in on the call. The scammer demanded just $750 through Venmo, an oddly small amount that made it seem more believable. After Steve paid, they called his parents directly and found them safe at home, completely unaware of what had happened. And then there's Rayleigh Jorgensen, who received a call from her 14-year-old son Tate's phone number. She heard her son's voice using his family nickname, but something felt off. Then another voice said, "I have your son and I'm going to shoot him in the head." 10 minutes later, she confirmed Tate was safe at school, sitting in the principal's office. So how is this possible? How can scammers clone voices so perfectly that they fool parents who know their children better than anyone? The answer lies in artificial intelligence voice synthesis technology that has advanced at a terrifying pace. According to Hani Farid, who studies generative AI at UC Berkeley, we've now passed through the uncanny valley. I can now clone the voice of just about anybody and get them to say just about anything. Here's what's really scary. Experts say that anyone with the right software can clone voices in just a matter of seconds. The technology requires surprisingly little source material. Sinead Bavel, a futurist and founder of Way, explains that most people in the modern age have some form of an online identity and have probably spoken in some way that's been recorded, especially if you're under the age of 25. Think about all the places your voice might be recorded. Social media videos and stories, voice messages sent through apps, background conversations and family videos, school presentations or sports events shared online. Even voicemails you've left. Scammers can harvest these audio samples and feed them into AI voice synthesis programs. Some of these programs are freely available online, while others can be purchased for surprisingly small amounts of money. The technology has become so sophisticated that it can capture not just the sound of someone's voice, but their speech patterns, emotional inflections, and even their unique way of pronouncing certain words. In Jennifer's case, the AI perfectly replicated her daughter's uniquely controlled way of sobbing. What makes these scams so effective isn't just the technology, it's the psychology behind them. Scammers are exploiting the most primal fear any parent has, something happening to their child. When you hear what you believe is your child in distress, your logical thinking shuts down. Your brain floods with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This is called an amygdala hijack. Your emotional brain takes over, and your rational brain goes offline. The scammers know this, and they exploit it ruthlessly. They create a sense of urgency, telling you not to hang up, not to call anyone, not to verify the information. They know that if you have time to think, you'll realize something isn't right. Notice the common elements in all these stories. The call comes when the family member is away or unreachable. There's immediate emotional distress with crying and pleading for help. The scammer creates urgency and forbids verification. The ransom demands are often surprisingly small to make them seem more believable, and they threaten violence to prevent you from thinking clearly. These scams are targeting families across all demographics, but there are some patterns worth noting. In King County, Washington, investigators noticed that some families being targeted don't speak English as their first language, possibly because scammers believe these families might be less likely to report the crimes or more vulnerable to the psychological manipulation. The scammers are also specifically targeting families with teenagers and young adults, because this demographic has the most digital footprint. Your teenagers are posting videos, sending voice messages, participating in online classes that might be recorded, all creating a treasure trove of voice data for scammers to exploit. Interestingly, the financial demands vary widely. Some scammers ask for hundreds of thousands of dollars, while others ask for relatively small amounts like the $750 in Robin and Steve's case. The smaller amounts can actually be more effective because they seem more believable and are amounts most families could potentially access quickly. Grandparents are also frequent targets, with scammers cloning grandchildren's voices to exploit the special bond between grandparents and their grandkids. The emotional manipulation is the same, but older adults might be less familiar with AI technology and therefore less likely to suspect voice cloning. So how can you protect yourself? The first step is knowing the warning signs. Here are the red flags that should immediately make you suspicious. When looking at caller behavior, they forbid you from hanging up or calling anyone else. They demand immediate payment through untraceable methods like gift cards, cryptocurrency, or wire transfers. They refuse to let you speak directly to your loved one. They get angry or threatening when you ask questions, and they know personal information but get basic facts wrong. For voice quality issues, listen for voices that sound slightly robotic or unnatural, unusual pauses or inflections, emotional responses that seem exaggerated or don't match the situation, the same phrases repeated exactly, and background noise that seems artificial or inconsistent. Pay attention to timing and context. These calls typically come when your family member is traveling or unreachable. The caller knows your family member is away but doesn't know specific details, the story keeps changing or doesn't make logical sense, and the ransom demand is either unreasonably high or suspiciously low. Watch for technical red flags too. The call quality is poor or keeps cutting in and out. You hear digital artifacts or compression sounds, and the caller insists on staying on one line instead of video calling. If you get a suspicious call, here's exactly what you should do. Your immediate response should be to stay calm and don't make any payments immediately. Ask to speak directly to your loved one. Ask a personal question that only they would know the answer to, something not posted on social media. And if they refuse, tell them you're hanging up to call your family member directly. Use a different phone or have someone else call your loved one's known number. For verification questions, create a family code word or password that only your immediate family knows. This should be something that would never appear in any online content. You can also prepare specific personal questions like, what was the name of your first pet? What did we have for dinner last night? What's the family nickname for your sibling? What's our address growing up? If you suspect a scam, hang up immediately. Call your loved one directly using a number you know is correct. Contact local police if you're still concerned. Report the incident to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov and warn other family members about the attempt. Never send money through untraceable methods. Don't provide personal information. Don't stay on the line if you feel pressured. Don't agree to meet anyone in person. And don't follow instructions about keeping the call secret. Prevention is your best defense against these scams. Here are the steps every family should take right now. For family security planning, create a family code word that everyone memorizes but never shares online. Establish verification procedures for emergency calls. Make sure everyone knows never to send money based on a phone call alone. And discuss these scams with your children so they understand the risks. When it comes to digital privacy protection, review your family's social media privacy settings. Limit who can see videos and voice content. Be cautious about what you share publicly. Consider whether family videos should be private or public, and teach your children about digital footprints. For technology safeguards, use call blocking apps that filter unknown numbers. Enable two-factor authentication on all accounts. Be suspicious of calls from numbers you don't recognize, and consider using a separate phone number for public listings. Education and awareness are crucial. Stay informed about new scam tactics. Share this information with elderly family members. Talk to your children's schools about digital safety, and join community groups that share scam alerts. The Federal Trade Commission is working on solutions, offering a $25,000 prize for developing new ways to protect consumers from voice cloning. They've received about 75 submissions focusing on prevention, authentication, and real-time detection. But until these technologies are widely available, your best protection is awareness and preparation. This isn't just about individual scams. We're looking at a fundamental shift in how we think about audio and video evidence. As AI technology becomes more sophisticated, we're entering an era where we can no longer trust what we hear or see without additional verification. Hani Farid from UC Berkeley put it perfectly: shit's getting weird. He even found himself doubting whether he was really speaking to Barack Obama during a Zoom call, because deepfakes of the former president are so common. This has implications beyond just scams. Legal proceedings may need new forms of evidence verification. Journalism will need new ways to authenticate sources. Political campaigns will face new challenges with deepfake content, and social media platforms will need better detection systems. We're essentially in an arms race between AI generation technology and AI detection technology. Unfortunately, the generation side is currently winning. The technology isn't inherently evil. Voice synthesis has legitimate uses in accessibility, entertainment, and communication. But like many powerful technologies, it's being weaponized by criminals who understand that our emotional responses often override our logical thinking. The challenge for law enforcement is that these scams happen quickly and often cross international borders. Scammers use encrypted apps, making them difficult to trace. By the time authorities can investigate, the scammers have moved on to new targets. Some proposed solutions include watermarking technology that embeds invisible markers in legitimate voice recordings, real-time detection software that can identify synthetic voices, blockchain-based authentication systems, and enhanced caller ID systems that verify identity. But implementation will take time, and scammers are already adapting their techniques to stay ahead of detection methods. The most effective current defense remains human vigilance and family preparation, as one expert told me. So here's what I need you to do right now, today, before you forget. First, have the conversation with your family. Sit down with your spouse, your children, your parents, and discuss this threat. Create your family code word and make sure everyone understands the verification procedures. Second, review your digital privacy settings. Check what voice and video content your family has shared online and consider making it more private. Third, share this information. Send this video to your family members, especially older relatives who might be more vulnerable to these scams. Fourth, practice the response. Role-play what you would do if you received one of these calls. The more you practice, the more likely you'll respond correctly under stress. Fifth, stay informed. Subscribe to this channel for updates on digital safety, and consider following FTC alerts about new scam types. And lastly, if you're interested in learning more about how AI can protect your family from these sophisticated scams, our experts at Tileris are here to help. You can schedule a personalized consultation to discuss your security needs or request a demo of our AI agent to see our technology in action. Stay safe out there. Remember, the goal isn't to live in fear or stop using technology. It's to be informed and prepared so that you can enjoy the benefits of our connected world while protecting yourself from those who would exploit it. If this video helped you understand this threat, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your family and friends. The more people who know about these scams, the less effective they become. And if you want to stay informed about the latest digital safety threats, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, trust but verify, and remember, when it comes to emergency calls demanding money, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.